Good morning, investors and fellow Christian warriors. Welcome to Christian Market Watch, super early on a Monday morning. And today we're going to cover so much. There's so much happening at the moment. We're going to cover all sorts of indices and graphs and charts with you to let you know what's happening in the market right now. And we're going to also cover some headline news, which I think you will find very interesting. So definitely stick around. First off, we have interesting trends happening in the Dow Jones Industrial Average right here. Following last Friday, where it started to have a little bit of a rally up, a mini one, not very much. We know it's still way too low compared to the highs that it used to be. I mean, let's check out the further time frame here. You can see we're still really coming just out of a depression, but it's a good thing. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see if this will continue. So that at least reflects my expectations in the short term. I mean, inflation is not going anywhere, and I just want to show you what companies, according to the 2020 list, is actually in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, so that we know in the back of our heads what sort of companies we're really talking about when we're looking at this index. So Salesforce, Procter & Gamble, like big ones like IBM, Amex, McDonald's, Coca-Cola. So a lot of these are long-time performing companies that, you know, have proven that they've weathered a lot of financial storm again and again. Chevron these days is doing pretty well in the energy sector. Nike, I wear. Yeah, and Apple is in it. So yeah, just to let you know, this is what we're looking at when we're looking at this indice right here. So this basket of companies is actually doing pretty well at the moment, definitely rebound from the lows. Let's hope that this will continue. Next, we're looking at the S&P 500, which is a larger stock market kind of signal because it has 500 companies. And we can see also here that it's also forming similar trends to what is in the Dow, where it's starting to come out of that little depression. Once again, we know that it's quite far from the all-time highs yet, but it increased 100 basis points, so you know, looking good for Monday morning. So let's see how these things will trade over the next day or so, and we'll give you another update soon. Next, we're looking at the NASDAQ. Similar trend, so all across the board, the stock market is looking like they woke up to an exciting day, which is a good thing, you know, after the little bit of a down run last week, and well, really since April for the NASDAQ. It's good to see. It's good to see. Crude oil is trading up again. We're definitely in an energy crisis and a long-term commodity cycle. I wouldn't be surprised if crude oil keeps going up regardless of what the stock market is doing. US 10-year yield, so this is actually going down, which is interesting. Yeah, we were at 2.9. Wow. So there's still a lot of fear in the market. That's the way I see it, because as the yields go down, that just means more money's pouring into it. Therefore the interest rate you get on that is lower. Really, we want to see the US 10-year Treasury yield go up. That way we know that investors are not as fearful anymore and taking the money out of the debt market and putting that into the stock market for us to see any bigger movements in the stock market in the short term. That's where we're at the moment. And Bitcoin, let's look at cryptos. Cryptos have done quite a good little rebound, especially this morning. Since yesterday, kind of still, it's been in this sideways choppy price action for a bit, if I can zoom out for you, and it looks like it was increasingly dead, which kind of just means that it's preparing for a bigger move ahead. As you can see, we had times where it just went trade up, down, and I think some traders have been making the opportunity in that to trade, buy the lows and sell the highs within this little range here, and you know, good for them. But this morning, well, you know, I'm hoping that this is a trend towards the upside rather than more choppy price action again. But definitely, as the margins are being squeezed, we can see that it's preparing to do something else. It is currently Memorial Day in the US, so we're not really expecting the market to do much. So if you're in the US, happy Memorial, oh, I even say that. Have a good Memorial Day. It's very important to recognize these things as we are in such a crazy global climate at the moment. Moving on to gold and silver. So here's the gold price in US dollars for the past year. You can see that around the time when the Ukraine war happened, a lot of investors are looking for safe haven asset to invest in right there in March and May, and then sort of like later in May, that has definitely died down. So if I zoom in about the 12th, a lot of investors have exited the gold market. Followed by some people thinking that it's just a good buying opportunity. So I think that's what we're seeing here. It's kind of flattened a little bit in the last couple of days, but yeah, when we see more movements, we'll let you know. When we actually switch to Australian dollars, though, we notice an interesting trend. You can see that gold in Aussie dollars has just kept increasing throughout 2021, 2022. The fact that I think that also reflects a little bit of what's happening in the Aussie dollars versus US dollars currency as well. In the last couple of days, if you actually look at gold, because of the strength of the dollar, Aussie dollar against the US dollar, we actually see that trend go down. So definitely something to watch out for that one. And 30 days in silver, that's been going up as well from the lows at $21 in US dollars. In Aussie dollars, that has bounced back from $30, just over 30, to 31. We know that silver has been artificially depressed because they need to use it as an industrial metal. It goes in your computer, these kind of things, and manufacturing of a lot of electronics. So they can't really have silver price go up too high, and that's why a lot of investors think that this is a good buying opportunity, because how long more can they keep silver price artificially low for? So a lot of people think that when they really have to face the facts, to face the fact that silver is being used up and the supply is diminishing, and everything else is going up in the everything bubble, therefore, when the world really wakes up to silver price being what it should be, perhaps it's way higher. A lot of people think that it's going to be way higher than where it is right now, and I am one of those people in the camp. Now, moving on to headline news. First headline we want to cover today is in the energy sector, with the EU failing to agree on Russian oil embargo. And that is mainly because some of these EU members, like Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech Republic, have expressed concerns that if there is an oil embargo, as in they will just stop buying oil from Russia, that it would be a body blow to its economy because it cannot easily get oil from elsewhere. Hey guys, you heard them say it. And honestly, these embargoes, the thing is, if they ban oil from Russia, you just have to get oil from somewhere else, because your people have to, like right now it's winter in Australia, we have to turn our heaters on. So if you're not going to do that, you're just going to buy from an intermediary, which will buy oil from Russia anyway, and then you're just going to have to pay a premium because you're going through an agent to get to that. So a lot of these embargoes and sanctions, they don't really work. It's just a political play so that people can get more popular in politics. You and I know that. Come on, we know the games that these politicians love to play. They just love to seem like they're really doing something to hurt the Russian economy, but as we can see here, Russia's fine. If they don't sell it to you, they'll sell it to someone else who will sell it to you anyway. They'll take the profits there. But you, Hungary, in this case, Slovakia and Czech Republic, their economies will just stop running. So for me, really, the less they interfere in these free markets, the better. And they should do something useful. They should do something useful instead of every single move that they make seems to just hurt our economy. I don't know what these global elites are thinking and big governments are thinking, really. They obviously want to do a couple things. They want to kill us all. They want to have complete control over us, our lives, what we do in the minute detail, and also all of our finances. They just want to have all these control. And I saw an article before that the green supporters have been accusing the global elites and the global leaders for spending too much money on jet fuel to get to Davos, the World Economic Forum Summit. And the people that are telling us to save on everything, it's just out of their selfishness, so that they are the ones who are able to use it. And you and I, who actually need to, some people need to fill up their gas in their cars for work, like they might be an Uber driver. These people, the normal people like us, are the people who are usually missing out, and we know that is how it works. So let's not buy into any of those lies, shall we? On to this article in Europe, DW by DW.com. DW fact check: is hunger being used as a weapon in the Ukraine war? And it's really, these sanctions, as we were talking about, sanctions do nothing for Russia, because Russia can just sell it to other people. But is it driving up global food prices? Yes, and the short answer is yes. Even the World Food Program chief says that there's no question that food is being used as a weapon of war in many different ways, and that is really sad to see. Once I saw a lot of tons and tons of Australian barley being poured away by China, just because they're having sanctions against each other. And all of those barley could have been food or stock feed or something for the population, but it's been held hostage, and then it expires and it spoils and it goes into the waste. Tons and tons of it. And I can't forget that scene. Ever since Noah's flood, God has promised that every single year he would send sunshine and rain and not give us these floods that would destroy the whole world. And every single year he's been faithful to give the sunshine and the rain so that people can plant crops and have enough to eat for the whole world. Had it not been for all these people who are in politics, probably we would have ended world hunger already. That's the truth. And now they're once again using it for war. It really, really hurts the people there. And I feel sorry for everyone who is affected, because life should not be like that. What they're doing there is pure evil. At the UN Security Council meeting on May 19, Beasley warned failure to open the ports in the Odessa region is a declaration of war on global food security and will result in famines, destabilization, and mass migration around the world. This is just another way that these people, who are the global elites and the governments, are causing the whole world to go into a period of chaos. That's what they want. The end game is they want to completely crash the system that we have right now and any stability we have in the world, so that we end up having to give our control to them as if they could save us, but actually they were the ones who caused it, and to be the lenders and buyers of last resort so that they can control everything: your money, your life, your freedom, your food now, and inflation. So this is crazy. And so when you're filling up your fuel next time, when you're buying your rice at 25% increase year on year this time, you need to understand that this is what's actually happening. It's not that the farmers are charging you more money. It's all these international and all these political things that are affecting your supply chain, and therefore how things get to you. This really reminds me of Matthew 24, where Yeshua really said, watch out that no one deceives you. So for any of the people there's a lot of people now trying to create a lot of panic on YouTube and other places as well, saying, this is the end, everything is going down, we're all gonna die. Just inciting a lot of fear. But I want to encourage you as our fellow Christians to remember what Jesus Yeshua said. For many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, really, and not only just in his name, but in the functionality of his name, as in, I am the savior of the world. I can get you out of this trouble. Like every election we hear that, don't we? And will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you're not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. It's not yet. And right now we're hearing about the Ukraine war. We're hearing famines and things like that. And this is really in accordance to what Christ has predicted for us all these years ago anyway. Nation will rise against nation as they do right now, kingdom against kingdom. You know, you can see nation against nation, the Ukraine versus Russia, the kingdom against the kingdom. I would say that's kind of like the US versus China. And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and all these are the beginning of birth pains. Yes, these are only the beginning, and the worst is yet to come. So how shall we prepare? I would say, one thing that I learned from Ray Dalio and in his Principles for Success is he said that it's better that we face reality rather than avoid it and be in denial, because anything that we deny actually becomes a blind spot, and it doesn't help us to be able to deal with the situation as it is. So I would really encourage us to brace ourselves out of the situation and watch it with a concerned heart, yes, but not be panicking. Not be panicking. I think that's the word I'm looking for. We need to be clear-headed and know how to prepare for it. When Yeshua said there were 10 virgins and they were all waiting for their groom to come, and 5 of them were smart and they prepared oil enough to last the whole time for their bridegroom to come, and the other 5 were foolish and they didn't prepare. And so today I want to ask you, which camp do you belong in? Are you in the camp that is actually preparing, or are you just hearing even this news update and you're not preparing? Like, if you know that food prices are going to go up, what should you do? And there's a couple things. I think increasingly, a lot of these financial investors that are quite vocal about their opinions and their views and have an awareness as to what's going on in the market, what's happening with our money, and what's happening with inflation. These people are each preparing some land where they are planting their own crops and becoming self-sustainable, because we know in the Holocaust something similar has happened before, and the only way that some of these people survived out of those times, and this is what we learn from the Jews, right? And that's why we have the Bible. It comes from a Jewish background that has gone through all of these things to help us understand how to deal with the future. I think God has already been graceful to us and merciful to give us previous examples that we can learn from, and we would do well to take those heed. A lot of people are preparing that to become more self-sustainable, and they're also learning about multiple ways of gaining an income stream. A lot of them, like a lot of Jews, have a trade in their home, in the families, that they gets passed down from generation to generation, so that even if you have graduated from a uni degree, okay, say it's something very, very technical, like say it's law or something like that, okay, but in your family, you still have a trade of being a baker. So you still have something that you can do with your hands, and learn to, like, no matter where you go, if you're a baker, you can find a job, or you can work for someone, or you can do something to make something with your own hands. And a lot of Jews end up going in the diamond trade, making lots of money, while they're escaping from city to city to city to city, and that's how they survived. And I just want to bring that out for you, to show you that this is what has happened in the past, and it wouldn't hurt for people like us to be ready, like especially for women. I once talked to a friend who came from Greece, and they said that basically for women is, we have less options because obviously we're not physically as strong, but things like bakery and patisserie and this kind of things, that is really a woman trade that women can go into. I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype it, but I'm just saying this is another possibility. So, these are all things for you to consider. Whatever you do, try and have a trade that you can use with your hands. And for me, I'm definitely starting to think about these things. At the moment, I'm building multiple digital businesses up. And my hope is that at least if I have access to the internet, that I can work from anywhere. And you can see that reflected in my YouTube channel. You can see that in the e-com challenges that I go in and the other 90-day challenges that I will be going into. I'm hoping that this channel is a source of inspiration for you to know what to do and learn by example, to see what a Christian is doing, who really believes in the Messiah's eventual return and inevitable return, and keep that hope in the Lord while really trying to prepare herself for any situation that can come upon this world, because we have the Bible. We have the things that God is telling us will happen, and it's so crazy. Maybe in another market update or another training video, I will share with you more things about what Jesus is saying is going to happen to us in these end times, so that you are aware the same way that I'm aware, to know what is happening and what is going to happen, especially the extent of biblical proportions that God has already determined is gonna happen. It's just a matter of when, and a matter of when he lets things loose, opens the can, opens the scroll, and all these things just fall upon the earth. And we need to be alert and best we can prepare that, so that we can not only help ourselves, but I'm hoping that especially for those of you who are listening, who have the financial capability, who are already business owners, who are already generating profits, maybe in the millions, I hope that you can hear this and prepare your church for food, for shelter, for sustainability, and prepare underground locations for people to take shelter and find refuge in you, because you heeded the word of God. That's my true hope for you. So as we are listening to all of these daily stock market updates, let's not be too alarmed, but let's know also, like the devil, we know also that our time is short. Perhaps the devil had more time because his lifetime far extends our lifetimes. And we need to understand that our lives are multiples shorter than his. And we need to be prepared for that. I hope that you found value from that. And if you haven't watched my previous video about inflation, or you want to watch more videos like this, definitely click on the playlist to see more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you.